Hi. Just a minute ago, I ended recording an attempted call to uh, my first or second, depending on how you count, real girlfriend. Uh, End of high school and throughout college. Anyway, no answer, answering machine. And it's a little disappointing. I just gotten an email from her, and I'll call again. Costs very little, 2.53 cents per minute, euro cents. Anyhow, what great news. I've just eaten up a bunch of salmon sashimi. I don't know what the Japanese for salmon is at the moment, um, but whatever it is. My favorite fish store had neither swordfish nor tuna sashimi. This was my best shot at sashimi, and it's not bad. It's a little bland, you could say, but not bad. I even fried the skin after removing it, and I ate half of it, and the other half, I don't know. It was very crisp, that was the idea, but it feels a little like there might still be some scales on it or something. I don't know. I know that in theory you can eat it, salmon skin, of course, but in practice, well, in this case. And I made a super second and a half generation leftover today. The basis is lentils and red rice cooked together, green or brown lentils and the red rice for about an hour, and added in 50% of the lentil one third of the lentil population of red lentils, which kind of melt into a background to just like thicken the soup a bit. In any case, that with two kinds of sausage, a largish bratwurst that was never niemals gebraten, and sliced and put into the lentil mix, and Debreciner, which I like much better, also in that mix. So that's a leftover that has been reheated once before and eaten partially, and now reheated again, and combined ultimately with a chili residue, which had been made from a leftover insufficient quantity, but in any case of homemade tomato and meat spaghetti sauce, which had most of the lot coming out of the refrigerator already, was eaten, but the leftover turned into chili, a little weak on the tomato in this case, but a can of kidney beans and the leftover sauce. And then, insanely enough, a leftover of barley with some turkey leg meat and a little bit of beef liver. All of these, by the way, having the essential three vegetables cut up in them: celery, onions, what's the third? Well, two of them have celery, onions, and carrots, and the other one is just onions, but and garlic, typically a little garlic one, especially in the tomato sauce, of course. So all of these three leftovers, which had been eaten and then reheated and put into the refrigerator for storage, and now brought out and boiled for a while, make sure everything is dead. And I made a pot of fresh rice, jasmine rice. I just bought a kilo for €1.79 at Penny, my nearest grocery store, and on the cheapish side, typically. In any case, so I have a second or third generation left over now. It was not bad, but the rice I cooked with a pretty good amount of butter in the boiling water upon adding the rice, and cooked for 10 minutes and let sit for another 10. It was so good, really. I just enjoyed eating it plain. I had thought of mixing perhaps 1-to-1 with the lentil, etc., portion. It was divided into back into the fridge portion and a pour into the bowl portion, roughly equal, around half a liter or so. And I had thought that this rice would be kind of mixed in. It was 3/4 of a cup of raw rice. Incidentally, or not at all incidentally, that being the amount of rice of the 1 kilo bag that did not fit with even with sufficient bumping and grinding of the jar into my largest stock jar, or storage jar, which is a 1-quart mayonnaise, Hellmann's of course, jar from the US, I believe, because it's not metric. In any case, it's larger than my next largest, which is an 800 gram or 800 milliliter, I don't know which, Hellmann's mayonnaise jar. In any case, I moved what was in the biggest Hellmann's jar into a small jar, poured rice into the Hellmann's jar until it was absolutely full, even with shaking and bumping and so forth, not a grain more. And so what was left in the bag was 3/4 of a cup, which is a reasonable quantity, I would say, almost minimum quantity for 2 people. Oh, telephone.